first and foremost, any feature that makes it into the game has to be like tonally celebrating the land of Ezo.
In Tsushima, we really loved our stance system where the player could choose one of 4 ways to hold the weapon to combat a particular type of enemy. In Ghost of Yotei, we took that system and we expanded it. Instead of 4 stances, there are now 5. We took that same system and we said, okay, instead of stances, it's new melee weapons. Functionally, it's the same as stances, but it's more. For instance, if you use a spear, you can use that weapon to knock enemies backwards in space. So if you're standing near a cliff fighting them, you can knock them off the cliff into the abyss. Works just like stances, but there are extra abilities that are attached to each of these weapons to give the player more options. The game definitely would like players best to learn how to switch weapons when it is appropriate, because it is the most efficient way to play. But let's face it, people sometimes want to play in the way that makes them feel the coolest, and the game will not hurt you if you do that. If you want to play with just 2 swords in each hand because it looks cool, you can play through the whole game that way. I love the Kasuragama because while it's really good for taking down people with shields, it also allows you to do an area effect attack by spinning that chain above your head. If you're surrounded by enemies, you can hit them all. This is something we never had in Tsushima, but in Yotei, it's absolutely there for you. It is a moment where you're kind of improvising, and these weapons allow you to do a broader selection of abilities that give you more choice and more freedom in how you deal tactically with the enemies around you.
I think my favorite when it comes to combat is the dual wielding. It really rewards the feeling of being really fast. And when she hits with those 2 swords, you can kind of get into a flurry and get into a groove where it keeps going. You're like, is this going to stop? No, it just keeps going. There's speed there. It feels really lethal. It doesn't feel like you're swinging a lot and doing little damage. It feels like you're actually, really hurting them. So I like dual wielding. I think that's my center fantasy melee weapon setup for me. And that might be different for other people, but that's why there's 5 of them. It's everybody's going to try something new and different.
So the game takes place in the year 1603. Peace has just broken out in Japan after decades and decades of civil war, and there are a lot of sellswords that suddenly are out of work. So they travel north to the edge of the Japanese empire, an island called Ezo, modern-day Hokkaido. And this place becomes a powder keg. It's very, very dangerous with all these sellswords walking around trying to make a buck.
I'm looking for some old friends. The Yotei 6.
This moment in history, combined with the beauty of Ezo, these lush mountainscapes and forests and rivers, creates a dynamite combination for an open world game. And it's where we wanted to set Atsu's quest for vengeance.
When we started to think about what the next game would be for us at Sucker Punch, and we really had to kind of take stock of what we loved and what our fans really loved and how we saw people play Ghost of Tsushima. And one of the aspects of Tsushima that we wanted to care for was the sense of exploration. We saw people play very wide in their experience. We saw people drop 80, 90 hours and just exploring and using modes like photo mode just to sort of soak in nature and the beauty of the world. That really resonated with us. So that led us to a whole host of features, developing a utility called Spyglass, where you're able to sort of quickly pull up a spyglass, look around the environment, see something interesting on the horizon, and hopefully beckons you to ride to it. That's Nate and I's preferred method of playing. Or traversal elements like flowers. We call them boost flowers. There's these streams of white flowers inside the vast landscape that it's really joyful for Atsu to just ride through. She gets a speed boost and they will lead you likely to something. Or, other features like our clue system that's just trying to get you an idea of interesting areas that you might go to, or, camping, which camping under the stars of such a vast landscape is really just a way to celebrate how truly wild the landscape is.
Hey, friend. Share your fire with the traveling peddler?
What are you selling?
A mask said to be cursed with the unpredictable nature of its previous owner.
In our game, you can fast travel. In our last game, you could fast travel anywhere. If you want to go upgrade your bow, you could fast travel over here and upgrade your bow. That's fine. And you can do that again in this game. But after you meet people and your wolf pack grows, we show this screen briefly, you can go into those wolf pack screens and see what people have to offer for you. Say like that bowyer. If they have an upgrade available to you, you might be able to pull them into your campsite. So if you're exploring a region of the game, sometimes it can be really discordant to just like stop there, go warp to another area, upgrade, and then come back to where you're exploring. This is what we mean. You can actually just stay here, set up camp, briefly engage with this person, this bowyer person comes over, you get your upgrade, and then you go back on your way.
In Ghost of Yotei, there are a number of places in the world that Atsu visits. She has a lot of memories from her youth. Touch of a button, you can go back into the past and you control Atsu as a child. You get to play as her, interacting with her brother and her parents and other people. And we wanted you to be able to really, control her as a kid, so that you would feel like you knew what her life was like. You could experience that. Of course, because this shows you what she lost. The player's in command. They can hit the button to go back and see what it used to be like, and then hit it again and see what it's like now. Comparing and contrasting, for instance, what her homestead, looked like in her youth to what it looks like now after it's been run down by weather and lack of use. It's become a ruin. So you get to see kind of the before and after of her experience in the landscape. Oh, I'm very excited for players to get out into the wilds, the dangerous, lawless wilds of Ezo, entranced by Atsu's quest. The wind's blowing them towards a mission start. But what's that over there? They're going to find something worth discovering. We wanted to make sure in this game that we honored players' curiosity. It's those spaces in between missions when players just find themselves propelled by the smallest little puff of curiosity, and it takes them on an adventure they hadn't anticipated doing.
First blush, I want to say the wolf, but I really do feel like we show a bit of the wolf, and there's a whole lot more to go there. But I actually want to say something we haven't talked about much, which is Atsu's shamisen, which is the instrument that she carries, which is her mother's shamisen. I love that the shamisen exists, and there's actually songs that you can learn inside of the open world, and those songs can then guide you to certain types of things. So you want to collect some of these songs because they'll guide you. Things like Song of Vanity might guide you to cosmetics, and we know how people love dressing up in the game and putting on cool outfits. So I'm really excited about showing more of that and for players to get sort of an opportunity to use that.
Want to boost your game collection and get a great selection of titles every month? Well, now you can with Humble Choice. Every month you get a hand-picked mix of awesome PC games, and this month's lineup is now live. Running through to August 5th, you can grab Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, Daemon X Machina, Death's Door, Cat Quest 3, and much more. Whether you're building your backlog or discovering something new, now is the perfect time to pick up these fan favorites. And don't forget that every purchase helps a good cause, with this month's Humble Choice membership supporting Covenant House. Get a curated mix of PC games every month, all for just $14.99 a month. Skip a month or cancel anytime, and know that 5% of your membership goes to charity. So if you love discovering great games and doing a little good while you're at it, check out Humble Choice today.